Hi, ninth grade students. So last week we talked about the expectations that come with the air test of the writing prompts. And you will be asked to write most likely one expository piece of writing and one argumentative piece of writing. And the crux of the writing that you'll be doing will start with writing a good, solid claim. So let's look at how that works. So the characteristics of a good claim are that it should be clear, specific, it will answer the prompt that you're being asked to write. It will be supported by the text provided in the test. It will provide specific reasons. It will be provable by the text provided. And if it's an argumentative prompt, it must pick a side. Don't play both sides or be wishy-washy with your claim. So let's look at a couple different samples. Sample number 1. You've all seen this essay topic because you guys all wrote about this earlier in the year during the first quarter. So the prompt says, compare and contrast how Wordsworth and Frost treat nature in the poems I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud and Once by the Pacific. So let's look at some of the sample prompts. Here is a weak claim. Both Wordsworth and Frost compare and contrast in the way they treat nature in their poems. This is a claim that many of us English teachers saw. And this claim is weak because it doesn't say much. All you're saying is that it compares and contrasts. It basically just regurgitates the prompt without making a specific claim. If I'm looking at this claim, I don't see how it compares. I don't see how it contrasts. It's not making anything that is specific. It's not making anything that is provable. So this would not get a great score. Here is one that is slightly stronger. The two poems contrast in their moods, but compare in their use of figurative language to describe nature. What this does do is tell us how the moods contrast and how they compare in figurative language. It's slightly stronger because we know you're going to be contrasting the moods, and we know that you are going to be comparing figurative language, but it's still not specific enough. Let's look at a strong one. The two poems contrast because Wordsworth has a very peaceful mood in his poem, while Frost's is very powerful, but they compare because they both use figurative language like similes and personification to create strong imagery of nature for their readers. The reason why this is very strong is because we know that you're going to be talking about a peaceful mood in one poem and a powerful mood in another, and that you're going to be comparing the use of figurative language, specifically similes and personification. So this is much stronger than some of the other claims. Let's look at an argumentative prompt. So this comes from one of the sample tests that you've seen a couple of times in the earlier videos. This one says, should cultural artifacts be returned to their region of origin? So remember, in an argumentative prompt, your claim should be strong and provable, it should be backed up by the text, and it should pick a side. So you could say, yes, they should be returned, or no, they should not. So here's what we want the teachers to do. Please pause the video, and students, please get out a scrap piece of paper, and we want you to write a claim statement on this prompt. Please put your name on it, and teachers, we want you to collect this. So please pause now. So let's take a look at some of the weak claims. I both agree and disagree that artifacts should be returned to their countries of origin. The reason why this is so weak is because it's wishy-washy. It agrees and disagrees. And oftentimes this is the case with topics. You can agree with some issues and disagree with other issues, but for the sake of writing, you need to take a stance, okay? Even if you don't necessarily agree or wholeheartedly or disagree wholeheartedly. Let's look at the next one. Artifacts should be returned to their country of origin. The reason why this is so weak is because even though it does make a clear stance, it doesn't tell us why. And to the other side of that, it says artifacts should not be returned to their country of origin. And it's for the same reason. It doesn't tell us why. So it takes a clear side, but it doesn't tell us why. So let's look at some stronger claims here. Artifacts should be returned to their countries of origin because they have cultural value to their region of origin, and many artifacts have illegally been removed from their region of origin. Now, this is strong because it takes a stance and it is backed up with some reasons, and those reasons come directly from the articles. Let's look at another one. Artifacts should not be required to be returned to their region of origin because valuable artifacts can be lost if the region of origin is in political turmoil, and artifacts can be turned into political weapons. So even though this is the opposite viewpoint from the claim above, Again, it gives some reasons and it is backed up by the literature. So just to kind of recap here, your claim should be strong, it should be provable, it should be backed up by the literature, and if it's an argumentative piece of writing, you need to make a strong claim. Good luck.